Okay, I'm back again with another video. I want to talk about a video that I've seen from another fellow YouTuber that I watch frequently. His name is CD Fury. It's a conspiracy dude. I think it's what his name is. Conspiracy dude Fury. I don't know what the Fury is for. But anyway, he did a recent video, which he's going to be doing a series on this about black children inheriting dust. I think it's why black children inherit dust or whatever. And I'll probably put the link in my video in my description box where you can go find his channel, unless some of y'all are already subscribed to him. He has over like 160 some thousand subscribers, so he's been doing it for a while, but he's really good at his commentary, and videos are really good. Most of the ones that I've seen. But this video, he's talking about black children inheriting dust, and what he's talking about is basically how black children are treated differently from whites, especially and it's not just the children too. He talks about a lot of different things in there. He talks about education. He talks about how black people are treated when it comes to jobs, and a lot of stuff he said I've heard some of it before, but I didn't hear it to the extent that he explained it. Very well explained. He talked about how just having a black name can get you discriminated from being hired at a certain company. People will look at these white corporations that we want to go and work at, because we're looking for job opportunities. And a lot of black people are less likely to be able to get jobs in certain companies at certain companies because of their name. He said that they were frequently less callbacks to black people, educated black people too. I mean, just coming out of college, some of them are still with technical degrees, are still not able with STEM degrees, science, technology, economics or whatever it is that they or electronics or whatever they're into of that, and mathematics. They're still not able to get jobs in those fields because of their color of their skin, and it's so sad that the institutional racism that we have to go through and the microaggressions that we deal with from other races towards us, saying different things. It's so disheartening at times. And not to make this video depressing, I just want to talk about what he said in the video. Just kind of reiterate some of those things. I mean, he was saying how black children seems to be need to be taken out of regular school systems because they're not being educated the way they should be. I mean, they're the most likely to get in trouble for no reason. They're basically racially profiled. They're targeted compared to white children and probably other minorities. So we're just supposed to have no good education, because I remember when I was in school, especially in elementary and in middle school. And we learned, I lived in Alabama at the time, and we had to learn black history, not black history, but Alabama history. And it was a bullshit lesson, because as soon as we got to slavery, it was grazed over. It was all candy coated and nice and sugar plums when the teacher was talking about it. And we did not, it's just because they're saying that black people do not educate their children very well. And I think a lot of it is true. I'm not going to put us down totally, but I'm just going to say, because we as black people, because we haven't been educated or taught a lot of times about our history, some of us have not become woke, that we're not really teaching our children what they need to hear, or need to understand or know. So there you go. They're being undereducated because they're not being taught at home, and we've been whitewashed so much that we just don't even know what our history is. Some of us, some of us that are wanting to find out, and we're doing research and we're putting up videos here on YouTube of research that we found, from our ancestors and books and authors that are actually writing about this stuff. How we've become woke. We're actually doing the research and trying to find out what happened on Black Wall Street and stuff like that, and why our businesses are failing, and how we're not, maybe supporting each other in business, and how we're not hiring each other when we have businesses, small businesses and stuff like that. We don't want to hire our own people, because we've been burned by our own people, which is sad. This is just how it's been. So yeah, it's a lot of good things that CD Fury talked about in his video, why black children inherit dust. and how we will continue to inherit these things. We're inheriting what he means by dust. I feel like it's a metaphor for the crumbs, the scraps, the leftovers. Because that's what slavery was all about. We inherited this crumbs, the scraps, the leftovers when we were eating from master's table after we fed him. This is something that we've had to deal with for years. We're still eating crumbs. We may not be slaves in the physical at an extent. Now, maybe at certain jobs you are still slaves, but we're slaves in the mind. We're suffering from post-traumatic slave syndrome, and we're suffering from, some of us are suffering from Stockholm syndrome, which is the same thing. Having compassion for our oppressors. And once it was made legal for black men to marry white women and white women to marry black men, or white women to marry black men and black women to marry white men, or whatever. However, I'm just saying it all over the place. And it was made legal in 1967 or 69, whatever it was, and we just ran with it. We are having such a great time, being able to mix out and marry out and stuff like that. This guy was also saying in his video that it'd be best if we could go back to segregation, but I feel like we're so far gone now that people are so comfortable with the way things are. We're not going to be able to go back to that era, that time, because we fight against each other so much that that's not even an option to an extent. I don't know if I could get along with a whole bunch of different black people, because I remember living in Atlanta and it's a lot of black people there. I mean, there's a lot of different races there too, but I'm not saying I don't like my black people. But I remember my brother saying one time, he said that Atlanta scared him. Going to Atlanta because there's so many black people, it scared him to be around all those black people. And I remember Chris Rock saying in one of his comedies, he said, I love black people, but I hate niggas. And I mean, I didn't realize there was a difference until he described it and broke it down. But there is a difference between black people and niggas. Niggas just do some of the craziest things. They're scary. The behavior is ratchet, ghetto, and just over belligerent and just a mess. Whereas, black people, they supposedly act different. They act more civil, more cordial, more like they got some sense. So I don't know. I mean, that's just what I gathered from what he said. Anyway, I'm just making a random video. I like to make these random videos lately, but I was just wanting to discuss the conspiracy dude Fury's theory on the why black children inherit dust. He's got a video series that he said he's going to be doing on this, and he did the first installment the other day, and it was really good. So I put that link to his channel in the description box down below. And if you like this video, comment, rate, and subscribe. Thank you.